The Chinese or the US military might be the most powerful militaries in the world because of the number of personnel they possess, WMDs, armory, tanks, fighter jets and others. But what countries on the African continent are the most powerful? African countries have been seriously challenged, especially in 2016, with increasing terrorist activity like that of the Al-Shabab, ISIS, Boko Haram and more civil unrest. Things have changed a lot in the continent in terms of military power. You want to watch this video to the very last minute. Before we go into this countdown, kindly subscribe to our channel and push our notification bell to get our videos each time we drop. The Libyan Armed Forces. Libya has an active military comprising of 76,000 personnel, 400 tanks and 46 aircrafts. With a population of 6.2 million, Libya's defense budget is estimated at $3 billion and ranked the 10th most powerful military in Africa. The Libyan National Army comprises of the ground forces, the air force and the navy. These armed bodies were formed after the first Libyan civil war in 2011. After defeating the might of Muammar Gaddafi's regime, the Libyan army supply depots and bases were damaged during the war. This called for the rebuilding of the country's damaged military infrastructure. The Angolan Armed Forces. Angola has an active military comprising of 107,000 active frontline personnel, 140 tanks and 270 aircrafts, and over 3 million people that are fit for service. The weapons of the Angolan Armed Forces are mostly Russian, Soviet and ex-Warsaw Pact hardware. A chunk of its equipment were gotten in the 80s and 90s when most African nations were at civil war, as there was hostilities with neighboring countries. Angola has one of the largest air forces in Africa. Angola is ranked the African country with the 9th most powerful military. The Tunisian Armed Forces. With a budget estimated at $500 million, Tunisia has 350 tanks and 139 aircraft with an active military personnel of 35,800. This has ranked Tunisia as the 8th country in Africa with the most powerful military. The Tunisian Armed Forces are duly equipped with close to 84 main battle tanks and 48 light tanks. As for the Air Force, there are about 4,000 personnel, 27 combat aircrafts and 43 helicopters. The Navy is slightly higher as personnel are numbered to be 4,800, operating a total number of 25 patrol boats and 6 other aircrafts. Moroccan Armed Forces. Highly dependent on foreign equipment, the Royal Moroccan Armed Forces have been involved in the conflict with the Polisario, a liberation movement fighting for the independence of Western Sahara. They are also involved in numerous peacekeeping missions, including in Somalia. Morocco has a large landmass with a population of 32.6 million. Its active personnel in the military is 195,800, with a defense budget of $3.4 billion. Morocco has 1,348 tanks and 323 aircraft in its arsenal. Morocco is ranked the African country with the 7th most powerful military. The Kenyan Defense Force. Kenya has established itself as a vital participant in international peacekeeping missions and is able to do so due to its merchant marine strength and an enormous labor force, resulting in high available manpower. Though it doesn't possess as much of its own equipment, its role as a member of international teams allows the Kenyan military to share resources with other countries, strengthening its own capabilities at the same time. Kenya's defense budget is estimated at $595 million, with about 12,168,000 fit for military service out of its population. Kenya has an active frontline personnel of 24,120 and is ranked the African country with the 6th most powerful military. Before we move on to the top 5 heavyweight militaries in Africa, kindly subscribe to our channel if you are yet to and push our notification bell to get notified each time we drop a video. Nigerian Armed Forces. Nigerian Armed Forces is ranked 5th position on this list of African countries with the most powerful military in 2020. But due to political instability, corruption and lack of new equipment for its military, it is still ranked the 5th most powerful country in Africa with military strength of 1,400 armored vehicles, 360 tanks and 6,000 logistical vehicles at its disposal. Nigeria's Air Force boasts of nearly 300 aircrafts and 25 high-powered naval vessels with defense budget estimated to be $2.3 million. The South African Defense Force. South Africa's defense budget is estimated at $4.9 billion. South Africa has 191 tanks and 213 aircrafts. Its aircrafts and naval vessels are well equipped with the latest technology. The nation also has 62,000 active personnel and a reserve of 17,000 personnel. South Africa's defense force is ranked the 4th most powerful military in Africa. The Ethiopian Defense Force. As a landlocked country, Ethiopia has no naval force, but has focused its resources on developing its army and air force to an impressive degree. Ethiopian military strength is noticeable in her yearly defense budget of $340 million. Ethiopian Defense Force is ranked the 3rd most powerful military on the African continent. With an arsenal that consists of 560 tanks and 81 aircrafts, Ethiopia has an active personnel of 138,000 ground forces and a further 3,000 air force personnel. The Algerian Armed Forces. Algerian Armed Forces have an active frontline personnel of 120,000. They are one of the most equipped militaries in Africa with about 1,500 armored fighting vehicles at its disposal. However, lack of leadership in Algeria may be an obstacle for setting objective to this powerful army. The army in Algeria is the only entity able to oppose effectively Islamic forces that almost took over the country after the independence. Algeria is among the African countries with the best military power. The nation's defense budget is estimated at $10 billion. The Egyptian Armed Forces. Egypt is the strongest and most powerful nation in Africa. Egyptian military is the most powerful amongst other African countries because of the size of its armed forces and armories. Egypt has 4,767 tanks and 1,100 aircrafts. Egyptian soldiers are well equipped and well trained, but are inferior to Israeli soldiers in terms of weaponry and training. As of 2011, the Egyptian armed forces have more than 438,500 active personnel, in addition to 800,000 personnel available in reserve and over 400,000 paramilitary personnel, making it one of the largest armies in the world. It also has one of the largest defense budgets in the world, estimated at $7.8 billion. These are the top 10 African countries with the most powerful militaries in 2020. Kindly give us a like if you enjoyed this video and also leave a comment in the comment section. Thanks for watching.